The Persian Empire, spanning from the 6th century BC to the 7th century AD, was renowned for its advanced society, culture, and vast territories. However, maintaining law and order within this expansive empire necessitated the implementation of strict and, at times, gruesome punishments. This essay will explore the top 10 most insane punishments meted out during the Persian Empire, serving as a stark reminder of the brutal nature of ancient justice systems. 1. Flaying and the flesh chair. In an effort to ensure unbiased and fair courts, King Darius executed Persian judge Sisamnes after discovering he had taken a bribe. After his execution, Darius ordered his flesh to be flayed off and transformed into a chair. This extreme form of punishment was not only a testament to the king's commitment to justice, but also served as a warning to others who might consider corrupt practices. The process of flaying involved the careful removal of the skin from the body, often done while the person was still alive, causing immense pain and suffering. After Sisamnes' death, his skin was treated and stretched to create a macabre piece of furniture. This flesh chair served as a constant, chilling reminder of the consequences of corruption and the importance of upholding justice in the Persian Empire. Sisamnes' son, who succeeded him as judge, was forced to sit on this macabre throne, constructed from his father's skin, as a daily reminder of the consequences of corruption. This psychologically tormenting punishment was meant to ensure that the new judge would remain honest and fair in his rulings. The use of such a gruesome and personal symbol of punishment served as an unforgettable deterrent for those within the Persian legal system, as well as a public display of the empire's commitment to justice. It is worth noting that while the practice of flaying and the creation of a flesh chair might seem barbaric and cruel by modern standards, it was not entirely unique to the Persian Empire. Other ancient cultures, such as the Assyrians and the ancient Maya, also practiced flaying as a form of punishment or ritual. Nevertheless, the story of Sisamnes and the flesh chair remains a particularly striking example of the lengths to which the Persian Empire would go to maintain order and uphold the principles of justice. 2. Asphyxiation by ash. Only the most heinous criminals, such as those guilty of high treason or sins against the gods, faced this terrible punishment in ancient Persia. The method, known as asphyxiation by ash, was a drawn-out and agonizing execution designed to instill fear and serve as a deterrent to others who might consider committing similar offenses. The Persians maintained a hollow tower filled with ashes and equipped with wheels. The tower, standing at an imposing 23 meters in height, was a symbol of the empire's commitment to delivering justice. The convicted would be rolled up to the top of the tower, secured, and then thrown in. As they plummeted to the core of the tower, the fall would often break bones but not cause immediate death. This ensured that the condemned would experience the full extent of the punishment devised by their captors. As the wheels turned, the ashes would be forced into the inmate's nose and mouth, causing them to choke and suffocate. This slow and painful death was meant to not only punish the individual, but also to serve as a warning to others who might consider committing acts against the empire. The use of ash in this execution method added a symbolic element to the punishment, as ash was often associated with death and destruction in ancient cultures. The Bible itself contains examples of similar punishments, demonstrating that this form of execution was not unique to the Persian Empire. Nevertheless, the use of asphyxiation by ash within the Persian justice system exemplifies the harsh and brutal nature of ancient punishments. 3. Molten gold torture. Roman Emperor Valerian suffered a horrific death at the hands of Persian forces after his capture during the Roman-Persian Wars. His fate serves as a stark example of the lengths the Persian Empire would go to humiliate and punish their enemies, and the cruel creativity employed in their methods of torture. Reduced to a personal slave of the Persian monarch, Valerian was subject to extreme humiliation. His once noble status was stripped away as he was forced to endure demeaning and degrading treatment at the hands of his captors. The Persian king sought not only to punish Valerian, but also to send a powerful message to the Roman Empire by showcasing their defeated leader's pitiful condition. When the Persian king lost interest in Valerian, the fallen emperor was subjected to a gruesome execution. he was drenched in molten gold. This method of execution involved pouring the scalding liquid metal over the victim's body or forcing it down their throat. The intense heat of the molten gold would cause the flesh to burn and organs to fail, ultimately leading to a slow, agonizing death. After Valerian's demise, his body was preserved through taxidermy, skinned, stuffed with straw, and displayed in a Persian shrine as a grisly trophy. This macabre display served as a reminder of the Persian Empire's victory over Rome and their ability to inflict unimaginable suffering upon their enemies. 4. Tree splitting. Late-era Persian punishments for thieves were particularly brutal, as the empire sought to maintain control over its vast territories and protect its citizens from the threat of lawlessness. Thieves caught stealing from or harassing travelers on the empire's highways faced being split in two, a punishment that was both gruesome and highly public. Executioners would pull the tops of two trees together, tying them with rope, and then secure the criminal's legs to the trees. The rope holding the trees together would then be cut, causing the trees to spring apart and tear the criminal's body in half. The sheer force of the trees springing back into position ensured that the condemned experienced a violent, painful death. The gruesome remains would be left on display as a warning to others, their body parts hanging from the branches of the trees they had been tied to. This macabre spectacle was intended to deter potential thieves by showcasing the brutal consequences of a life of crime. By leaving the remains in a public place, the Persian Empire reinforced its commitment to maintaining order and punishing those who dared to defy its laws. 5. Boiling alive. Boiling alive was a punishment reserved for those accused of poisoning others, as it was believed that the crime warranted a punishment that mirrored the suffering inflicted on the victim. The method was seen as a fitting retribution, as the individual responsible for the poison would themselves suffer an agonizing and slow demise. The condemned would be placed in a large cauldron filled with water, oil, or tar, which was then heated until the contents reached a boiling point. As the temperature rose, the individual's flesh would begin to cook and peel away from their body, causing unbearable pain. The process was excruciating and often prolonged, as the victim would remain conscious for some time while their body was ravaged by the boiling liquid. This extreme form of punishment served not only to exact retribution on the guilty party, but also to deter others from committing similar crimes. The spectacle of a person being boiled alive was a horrifying sight, and the knowledge of the immense suffering experienced by the condemned would instill fear in the hearts of those who witnessed it. By employing such brutal methods of punishment, the Persian Empire aimed to maintain order and discourage its citizens from engaging in criminal activities. 6. Scafism. Scafism, also known as the boats, was a cruel and unusual method of execution practiced by the Persians. The punishment involved trapping the condemned between two boats or hollowed-out tree trunks, with only their head, hands, and feet protruding. This confined and uncomfortable position would serve as the beginning of their long and agonizing ordeal. The individual would be force-fed milk and honey, which would cause severe diarrhea. The resulting excrement would accumulate within the boats, attracting insects and vermin. The filth and waste would lead to festering sores and infection, exacerbating the suffering of the condemned. The person would be left to suffer in this state, often for days or even weeks, until they succumbed to dehydration, starvation, or septic shock. During this period, they would be exposed to the elements, as well as the torment of insects and vermin feeding on their waste and open wounds. The psychological torment of being trapped in such a degrading and inhumane condition, coupled with the excruciating physical pain, made scafism one of the most cruel punishments ever devised. 7. Crushing by elephant. Elephants were used as executioners in ancient Persia, showcasing the empire's power and control over the natural world. These massive creatures, known for their intelligence and strength, were trained to carry out the will of their Persian masters, becoming instruments of death for those who had incurred the empire's wrath. The condemned would be placed under an elephant's foot, which would then be ordered to slowly crush the individual to death. This method of execution resulted in an agonizing and drawn-out demise, as the weight of the elephant would slowly compress the victim's body, breaking bones and causing internal damage. The sheer power and size of the elephant ensured that the condemned experienced a painful and terrifying death. The use of elephants in this manner served not only as a method of execution, but also as a symbol of the Persian Empire's strength and dominance. The ability to command these majestic creatures to carry out their bidding was a testament to the empire's power and served as a warning to those who might dare to defy its authority. 8. The Brazen Bull. This horrific execution method involved a hollow bronze bull with a door on one side, allowing the condemned to be placed inside the statue. Once the individual was secured within the bull, a fire would be lit beneath it, causing the metal to heat up and effectively cook the person inside. The screams of the condemned would echo through the hollow statue, creating a haunting and disturbing sound. The Brazen Bull was not unique to the Persian Empire, as it was believed to have originated in ancient Greece. However, its use within the Persian justice system underscores the empire's willingness to employ brutal and imaginative forms of punishment to maintain order and instill fear in its populace. The use of the Brazen Bull as a method of execution was particularly cruel, as the victim would experience unbearable pain while trapped within the metal enclosure. The psychological torment of being confined in such a small space, coupled with the intense heat and the knowledge of the impending, agonizing death, made this punishment one of the most feared methods of execution in the ancient world. Impalement. Impalement was another gruesome method of execution employed by the Persian Empire, and it was reserved for those who committed particularly heinous crimes. This brutal form of punishment was designed to cause immense suffering and serve as a stark warning to others who might contemplate committing similar offenses. The execution process involved the condemned being placed on a sharp, upward-pointing stake, which would be inserted into their body, either through the rectum or the vagina. The stake would then be hoisted upright, allowing the victim's body weight to slowly drive the stake further through their body. This excruciating process could take hours or even days, as the stake would slowly and painfully penetrate vital organs, causing internal damage and bleeding. The psychological terror of being impaled, combined with the extreme physical pain, made this form of punishment one of the most feared and cruel methods of execution in the ancient world. The sight of a person being impaled served as a powerful reminder of the Persian Empire's commitment to maintaining law and order, and the lengths to which it would go to punish those who dared to defy its authority. The Wheel. The wheel, also known as the breaking wheel or the Catherine wheel, was another brutal method of execution used by the Persian Empire. This punishment involved the condemned being tied to a large wooden wheel, which would then be rotated, causing the individual's limbs to be systematically broken by an executioner wielding a large hammer or metal bar. The breaking of the limbs would render the condemned incapable of movement, and the extreme pain and blood loss would lead to a slow and agonizing death. In some cases, the wheel would be hoisted onto a pole, leaving the victim suspended and exposed to the elements and scavenging animals. The wheel was not unique to the Persian Empire, as it was also used by other ancient cultures as a method of execution. However, its use within the Persian justice system highlights the extreme brutality employed by the empire to maintain order and control. The slow and painful nature of this punishment, as well as the public spectacle it created, served as a potent deterrent to those who might consider breaking the law.